Voodoo Donuts. At first glance or impression, it appears to perhaps be nothing more than just a quirky donut shop. But is Voodoo Donuts serving more than just sugar and flair? Well, in this psychic energy read, we look beneath the clever coat of frosting at the symbolism and explore the hidden meanings in the names, shapes, and themes of their tasty treats. Are these nothing more than just clever marketing and branding? Or is there a subtle nod to something far darker here? Let's see what clues they've left behind and who they may in fact be honoring. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Faye, and I am a psychic, an intuitive, and an energy reader. And my special sauce, if you will, is post-cognitive energy reading, where I decode the energetic impressions left behind and share what in fact has happened behind the scenes. But as I'm also starting to discover, I'm not just an energy reader, but I have a side hustle expertise in decoding what is plainly hidden in front of our faces. That's very much something that we're going to be exploring in this video. Now, before we get into the psychic energy reading and decoding, we're going to start by exploring Voodoo Donuts according to their own words on their website. So who they are and why do we even care about them, essentially. So here we go. Old friends and entertainment-oriented Portlanders, Kenneth, Pogson, and Trey Shannon collaborated on the creation of Voodoo Donut. They shared a desire to fuse exceptional hospitality with their bold, do-it-yourself approach and decided to pursue a joint entrepreneurial venture in 2000. Upon conducting research, they discovered that downtown Portland lacked a donut shop. As a result, they rented a small storefront situated between two nightclubs in Old Town in 2003. They joked about their ambition to achieve world donut domination with friends and family and opened Voodoo Donut. Initially, their pastry offerings were a combination of traditional and unconventional flavors. The diverse array of sideshow activities included hosting legal weddings, loft concerts above Voodoo's duct-taped adorned bathroom, and weekly Swahili lessons. Within a month of its inauguration, Voodoo Donut garnered its first mention in national media coverage that I'm so totally sure and convinced they did not pay for. This included the Travel Channel. They joked about their ambition to achieve world donut domination with friends and family and opened Voodoo Donut. Initially, their pastry offerings were a combination of traditional and unconventional flavors. The diverse array of sideshow activities included hosting legal weddings, loft concerts above Voodoo's duct-taped adorned bathroom, and weekly Swahili lessons. Within a month of its inauguration, Voodoo Donut garnered its first mention in national media coverage that I'm so totally sure and convinced they did not pay for. This included the Travel Channel, the Cooking Channel, MTV, which is a Masonic network, Good Morning America, Wheel of Fortune, Portlandia, Grimm, Leverage, The Amazing Race, and Access Hollywood. In addition, it has been spotlighted in print publications like People, Playboy, no, that's not weird at all, Condé Nast, Spin, GQ, Jane, Maxim, Food and Wine, among others. And I'm also completely convinced they paid for absolutely none of it. Following the opening of its second location in 2008, Voodoo Donuts now operates 19 locations across 7 states as of 2023, with its most recent location in Arizona. The stores frequently have queues that stretch not only out the door, but also around the block. Voodoo Donuts clients and fans attribute the company's success to its development of imaginative and distinct donut flavors and products. And they frequently request that a Voodoo Donut store opens in their neighborhood. In response to customer demand, the company aims to expand its product line and geographical footprint by opening new locations throughout the United States. How lucky we shall be. Now, that's what I have for you on 3D information about Voodoo Donuts, which, sure, it's interesting, but I'm gonna guess it's not why you guys are here. You're here for the goods that the guides have brought in decoding what is so plainly hidden in front of our faces. So here we go. But before we get into the goods that the guides have brought, I'm going to share with you guys, this video is going to include a fair amount of images. So if ever there's a portion where you're just listening and you're not watching, and you do not hear me speaking, that means that I am sharing images at that time, and you might want to stop whatever you're doing and look down. Because this is definitely a case where the images are absolutely vital to tying in everything that I'm going to be discussing in the energy reading. Okay, are you guys ready? So here we go, energy reading into Voodoo Donuts. Now, as soon as I had sat down to energetically look into them, my guides had directed me, before I go anywhere, before I do anything, before they were going to share anything with me, to look up the definition of the word voodoo, as it is imperative to first understand it. So I do. And according to Google, voodoo is a religion practiced in parts of the Caribbean, and especially Haiti and the southern United States, combining elements of Roman Catholic rituals with traditional African magic and religious rites characterized by sorcery and spirit possession. And they named a donut shop Voodoo Donuts. As in, they are associated with black magic and sorcery. So, do I in fact need to say more? Do I in fact need to look any further? Don't worry, I do. Otherwise, this would be a very short and boring video. But I do. But it's to say that right out of the gates, the guides have already illustrated and directed me to share with you guys that Voodoo Donuts and all of their chains are associated with black magic and sorcery. Okay. So right out of the get-go, from the name of their donut shop, Voodoo Donuts, from this alone, they are outing themselves in plain sight. From the name of the shop alone, before even doing any sort of a deep dive, they are telling us who they are, what religion they observe, what is of value and meaning to them, and what energy is in fact infused into their donuts. Black magic and sorcery. Think I'm being hyperbolic? I'm not. Because according to the Cabbal's main tenet, karmic retribution, they can do whatever they want to do to us so long as they reveal it in some sort of a way. However, the terms of the reveal are never specifically outlined and can take any number of different forms, which is in fact why there are so many reveals in movies, TV shows, because really, what better way to reach the masses than through those methods? But there are also reveals in books, music, food, drinks, and yes, even donuts. And if you want some examples of where we have seen reveals playing out rather publicly, well, first and foremost, there's the rather notable TV show, The Simpsons. And is it not interesting that that cartoon seems to have an endless supply of seeming precognition predictions? But there are also reveals in movies where people are depicted as having some sort of magic or gifts and abilities. Books such as the Divergent and Hunger Games series, which do rather in fact reflect the status of the world right now. And even beverages. But now specifically, we're really going to focus on Voodoo Donuts because this brand is outing themselves and they are telling on themselves. But once they do, it is out of their hands and thus it is no longer their responsibility how we receive it or how we choose to accept it. Because they've already told us with the name of their shop, Voodoo Donuts, that they are into sorcery, spirit possession, and black magic. And if that wasn't enough, the logo of Voodoo Donuts also includes a magician with a magic wand. So they aren't just telling us what it is that they do, they are also literally showing us that they are casting spells onto the donuts and infusing that dark magic into it as well. But this goes beyond satisfying the laws of karmic retribution because they're not just telling us with the name of the donut shop, Voodoo Donuts, they're also showing it to us with the logo and the magician that's on it. And this is also very much the case with beverages as well. As in, this goes beyond satisfying the laws of karmic retribution because they aren't just telling us what it is that's infused into the drinks, but those that consume it are also consenting to the dark properties that are in fact infused into it. Now, even though this video is specifically about Voodoo Donuts, I am going to point out that they are not the only food source that is plainly outing themselves, because again, according to karmic retribution, they all have to. So here are some more examples of other companies that have outed themselves in plain sight as well. Monster energy drink. And the logo even has a monster's claw running across the front of it. But monster, as in this energy drink, is infused with monstrous energy designed to turn the consumer into a dysregulated beast. Red Bull energy drink. A Red Bull on the logo. And why is this so significant? Because as I have shared with you guys in some of my previous content, and specifically the video that I had done on the Freemasons, as well as religion and the Cabal, there's a certain point in which the framework for the Cabal was born into the world. And that occurred shortly after the Jewish slaves had been freed from Egypt. So we go in way, way back in our motherfucking time machine. Because that's in fact when the framework for the Cabal began. What happened at that time was that the slaves had been led out of Egypt, and there was some confusion about when the 40 days and 40 nights of Moses going up the mountaintop to commune with God had begun. So because there was confusion and Moses did not in fact come down when some of the Jews thought that he would, they freaked the fuck out. And they decided, enough of this nebulous God that we can't see, but only Moses can go to the top of a mountain to commune with. We need a 3D representation of God. We need a God that we can see. Thus, collecting the jewelry from all of the women, they had assembled a golden calf to be the representation of God. Which is why anytime you're going to see a company or a corporation use a bull or a calf in their branding or their logo, they're outing themselves. They worship Satan. Because what is a calf? It's a baby bull. And who's the big daddy bull? Satan. So yes, Red Bull energy drink is outing themselves as being a satanic brand. Next we have the beverage company named Liquid Death. Whose tagline is, quote, "Don't be scared, it's just water and iced tea. Murder your thirst, death to plastic," end quote. Murder your thirst, you say? As in, destroy the particles in the body designed to feed and nourish our cells and our body? That doesn't sound very healthy to me, but I guess I won't worry about it because it's just water and iced tea. Next we have Ghost Energy Drink. As in, it throws us out of our physical body and haunts us? And that leads us to Killer Brew Energy Drink. And it even has a skull on the can. Cannot make this up. Which leads me to the very last one. Steve Austin's Broken Skull Lager. Broken skull, you say? Well, after reading a news report of a man who literally lost part of his skull due to drinking too many energy drinks, I guess I really shouldn't be surprised at this point how they choose to out themselves. And they very much, in fact, do have to out themselves to satisfy the laws of karmic retribution. But we're under so much mind control, we look directly at these things and then we look the other way and just explain it all away as clever marketing. But again, it's not just beverage companies, but also brands such as the Chicago Bulls, which again, similarly to Red Bull, is a satanic basketball league, as well as our entire financial system, because guess what? There's a big ass statue of a bull in front of the New York Stock Exchange, because our entire financial system worships Satan. And boy, oh boy, does that bull get around. Because it was prominently featured at the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics. And what else notable happened in this most recent Olympic Games was that the opening ceremonies also made a mockery of Jesus's Last Supper, featuring all drag queens. So, do you still think that I'm being ridiculous? I have more examples. Not only has the bull been prominently featured in the Paris Olympics, but there's a brand whose logo is a very notable bull's eye. But also, when you slow it down and you look at the bull's eye, does it not also somewhat resemble hypnosis? As in, we're being hypnotized to shop there, or perhaps we're under mind control when we are shopping there. But it's all been normalized by calling our overconsumption a Target run. Although I myself do also happen to, in fact, love a good Target run. So maybe I'm still under mind control myself as well. But where else have we seen hypnosis, symbolism out on the world stage? So yes, they are outing themselves always, one way or another. And as I demonstrated in my video on the Freemasons, celebrities too out themselves with their hand symbols. 333 as in lower level Mason or club member. 666, higher level Freemason or club member. So you may see them doing this, you may see them doing this, and you may see them doing this or this. So yes, absolutely everything, in fact, means something beyond clever marketing. Though one could certainly make the claim that yes, Voodoo Donuts does have clever donut names. Dark and certainly perverse, but okay, sure, clever. But now let's take a closer look at the names of the donuts, but through a not mind-controlled lens. So let's first start with their donut named Diablos Rex. Diablo, which is the Spanish word for devil. Rex. Now, I actually, in fact, had to look up Rex because I wasn't sure what the association here was. But wouldn't you know it, Rex means reigning king. So the title of the donut alone, the reigning king, the devil. So if we just stop right there with the title of the donut alone, they're telling you this is the reigning king, the devil. Because to this business and the club kids that founded it, the devil, as in Satan, very much is the reigning king to them. Now, what is the Diablos Rex donut? Well, it's a devil's food cake, which is clever, I will give them that. Diablos Rex, devil's food cake. But then they had to go and put a pentagram on it. Next we have the donut cock in balls on a donut. Then we also have the donut titled Old Dirty Bastard, which to me looks like jizz on a donut. So, okay, aside from Faye's interpretation of it, it's a rather interesting name for a donut, don't you think? And it kind of makes me wonder what in fact qualifies one as a so-called old dirty bastard. Is it perhaps consuming illicit photographs of kids in various states of undress? Or is it maybe having dirty, dark thoughts about penetrating a minor? Because that leads me to another one of their donut names. Triple chocolate penetration. And for the piece de resistance, we have the world famous Voodoo doll donut. And it is in fact so famous that they have large versions of it posted outside some of their locations as well. But let's break down what's in and what's on the Voodoo Donut doll. So it's a raspberry jelly-filled donut with a pretzel on top representing a penis. And that donut also has a very suspicious swirl on it. Now, where else might we perhaps seen or not seen this swirl if we're not in the know about what it in fact represents? So now that we've broken down the names and the symbolism about Voodoo Donuts, do you still not believe that they're in fact outing themselves? The names of the donuts tell a story alone. Then you're going to throw the symbolism into it, and it's a story with pictures rather vividly being illustrated and painted of who they are. Excuse me, a hemming at the truth cannot orchestrate when I need to clear my throat. And if you don't know why I'm saying a hemming at the truth, your body will physically resonate with the truth. That's why sometimes you will hear something that is true and you will just know without having any evidence to support it that it is true. And sometimes when we speak the truth, our body in fact really wants to emphasize the importance of that particular truth. And in my case, it's where I need to ahem to clear my throat, which is why I say that I ahem at the truth. Which is again why it is very notable that the names of the donuts tell a story alone, yes. But then you throw the symbolism into it and it's a story with pictures that are very vividly illustrating the point of who they worship. Satan, and what activities they promote but not just among themselves, but they also broadcast it to those that are in the know and those that know what those symbols mean. Because unless you're into these things, you might not know what the symbolism represents. But those that are in the know, they sure as hell do know. And not only do they know it, but they see it and they know that just like when a celebrity flashes any sort of a hand gesture, and that's to symbolize to other celebrities or other members in the club, I'm one of you. When somebody that knows what the symbolism in fact means, when they see it, it is a beacon of light letting them know this is a company and this is a brand that is sexually perverse too. And if somebody is in fact sexually perverse and corrupt, they're letting them know you are welcome here. We are just like you. And you are among friends. We see you, we know who you are, we do not judge you because we are just like you. And they're telling it with the names of the donuts, the symbols, and yes, even with the outside of all of the Voodoo Donut boxes that are also, in fact, painted pink. Every single donut box, and also the outside of every single Voodoo Donut location is painted pink as well. Now, at first glance, the color pink may not appear to be significant, but it in fact is. Because when I had looked into Aerosmith and the lead singer Steven Tyler for a members exclusive video, it was shown to me that their song Pink is in fact very significant. And no, they're not talking about the color either. And to illustrate the point that they are not talking about a color, we're going to break down some of the lyrics in the song Pink. And then we're also going to look at some of the symbolism in the music video for Pink. But again, to prove to you that they're not talking about the color pink, we're going to start by decoding some of the lyrics, but we're going to be decoding it again through not a mind control lens. So here we go. Pink is my new obsession. Now, if we were talking about the color pink, that would be rather curious for a rock band to say that the color pink is their new obsession. But again, they're not in fact talking about the color. Pink is the bing on your cherry. Now, maybe it's not in fact Voodoo Donuts that are the perverts, but it's me. Because, again, through a not mind control lens, seeing the lyrics, pink is the bing on your cherry, but knowing what I know and having seen what's been shown to me by my guides, cherry and pink is an indication of taking virginity, as in popping somebody's cherry. So it's an indication of taking virginity for a blood, sex, magic ritual, and pink is the blood that is used for it. Next we have the lyrics, pink, it was love at first sight. And again, not the color, because the very next line is pink gets me high as a kite. And to the best of my knowledge, colors cannot get people high. But again, they're not talking about the color pink, but the substance pink. Which also takes us to the line, pink is like red, but not quite. Which we're going to discuss a little bit more, but then concluding, and I think everything is going to be all right no matter what we do tonight. Because anytime there's poppin' cherries for blood, sex, magic rituals, and there's imbibing on the substance that is in fact pink, well then yes, everything that they do that night, at least for them, will certainly be quite all right. But just in case we haven't gotten the memo with the lyrics alone, and also to satisfy the laws of karmic retribution, and also to flash other club members, in the video there is a skeleton flashing club symbols, as well as Steven Tyler himself flashing club symbols with his hands. And very notably, what appears to be a child version of Steven Tyler wearing bunny ears. Now we're going to do a further deep dive into bunny ears a little bit later on in the video, so keep it in mind. But in case you didn't realize the significance of the bunny ears, well, it's the molecular structure of the juice that the club members drink. Because once it's been altered by adrenaline, well then it appears to be a bunny rabbit laying on its side. So yeah, Aerosmith singing about the color pink has nothing to do, in fact, with the color, but is a reference to the color of the juice, because once it's outside of a human body, it oxidizes and then it's no longer red, but it's pink. As in, pink is like red, but not quite. And it's also been altered by the oxidation of it by taking it out of a human body. Yeah, and that's also the pink that gets Aerosmith high as a kite, because when you change the molecular structure of it by introducing adrenaline into it, as in when the person's adrenaline is spiked, and then the juice is extracted from them, it's a chef kiss, and it very much is in fact like a drug to them, and very much in fact gets them high as a kite. So do you see how Aerosmith singing about the color pink is in fact an ode to their favorite substance, and not about the color, not at all, and not even a little bit. As in, it's hidden in plain sight what it is that they're referencing. Pink is like red, but not quite, because it's been extracted after spiking adrenaline, which changes the molecular structure to that of one resembling a bunny rabbit laying on its side. And in case we didn't get the memo, that's why there's Steven Tyler, a younger version of him, wearing bunny rabbit ears in the video. Because who's their favorite people to extract the substance from? So maybe now you can see why the color pink, outside of just the Aerosmith song, is rather significant to the fact that Voodoo Donuts, all of their donut boxes and all of their stores are bathed in the color pink. But again, it's not because they love the color pink, it's what pink represents. It's the substance that the color pink represents. Again, pink is like red, but not quite. And pink gets them high as a kite. And all of this talking about the color pink got me thinking about the singer Pink, who has also in fact flashed devil symbols and who also has a rather large and extensive tattoo of a snake on her thigh. But I'm sure this is all just one big coincidence. Just as I'm sure it's a coincidence that Voodoo Donut is bathed in pink in their stores, except, again, I'm hemming at the truth about it. Have a mug that they sell with a hole in it saying, "The magic is in the hole." I'm sure that's also a big coincidence. Except it's not. Because I have a Voodoo Donut not far from where I live, and one day I decided to take a walk down there. But not to consume their satanic donuts or to pretend I don't know what they're indicating with their perverse names of the donuts. No. It's in fact because right on the outside of their building, they have what appears to be a window. And above the window, it says, "The magic is in the hole." So I thought perhaps, again, maybe it's just clever branding and clever marketing, and that this was a window that somebody could walk past it and then they could look inside the window to see the staff making the donuts. How foolish I was, because once I stepped up to the hole, there's nothing to see, because the window is completely blacked out, because you can't see inside the hole. The hole on the side of the building that says on top of it, "The magic is in the hole." But the window is completely dark, because that's not the hole that they're speaking of where the donut is on the inside of. The actual hole they speak of is dark, just as dark as this window, because the actual hole that they speak of with the magic that's inside is the one that's used for sodomy. Sodomy, which also happens to cause a spike in adrenaline. It's also the same hole that's used for siphoning so-called magic or kundalini, or the life force energy, out of a person that the sodomy is being committed onto. And it's also the same one that, when it's done in a violent manner, can also be used for blood, sex, magic rituals. Just like rituals that are used for voodoo. And they named their donut shop Voodoo Donuts, because the founders of said donut shop engage in these rituals. That's why the donuts have the names that they have. That's why a donut has a penis with a raspberry jelly filling, because the rituals cause blood. And who's their favorite person to commit the rituals onto? Well, they've already outed that with the symbolism and the swirl that's on the very same donut. Because when they spike the adrenaline of the little one, it changes the molecular structure to resemble a bunny rabbit. And when it's extracted, it changes color from red to pink because of the oxidation process. So again, pink, just like the boxes and the exterior and the interior of Voodoo Donut stores. So do you still think that I'm being ridiculous? And if you do, then I'm sure that you would also believe that I must be some sort of crazy conspiracy theorist, and that this is all, in fact, one big conspiracy theory, right? Except, how many coincidences until it's a mathematical impossibility? But sure, let's say it's all just a coincidence. So here's some more just coincidences that I'm going to serve up for you. How many celebrities have also been photographed wearing bunny rabbit ears? Which I would say is rather notable because, again, as we've already seen, the bunny rabbit is the molecular structure of spiked adrenaline. In blood. That's pink because it's been oxidized when it's extracted. Anyway, but I'm sure they were all just wearing these bunny rabbit ears for Easter, right? As in, stop seeing monsters in the shadows, Faye. You can't take me anywhere. I'm such a crazy conspiracy theorist. It's just a fucking holiday, right, guys? Except some celebrities have done photo shoots wearing bunny ears outside of it being a holiday. And why do celebrities ask such strange questions about blood? Like Dax Shepard wondering how many calories are in a glass of blood. It's like they're all trying to tell us something. I just wish I knew what it was. But also, maybe you're like me and something about the Playboy bunny never in fact sat well. And maybe now also understanding that makes it not so unusual that Playboy magazine referenced Voodoo Donuts. And guess what? A artistic rendition of bunny rabbit ears has also been featured in fashion shows. And sorry, not sorry, fashion shows don't actually happen around Easter time. But even if it was happening around Easter time, well, all of this talk about bunny rabbit ears really did get me curious about the holiday Easter. And guess what, guys? After a 30-second, literally 30-second Google search, I found out that neither bunny ears nor hunting for Easter eggs, while they are both popular traditions associated with the holiday Easter, are not directly linked to the holiday, nor do they have any religious meaning associated with it either. So then you may be wondering, because I sure as hell was, well, if there's not in fact any association to the holiday, and there's no religious meaning either, where did bunny rabbit ears and hunting for Easter eggs come from? Well, it's in fact of pagan origin, as rabbits symbolize a new life and were frequently used in ancient rituals, wouldn't you know? And particularly during spring festivals, as that is traditionally considered to be a time of renewal. But interestingly enough, rabbits were shown to me on more than one occasion as being used in the first blood, sex, magic rituals before the participants moved on to menstruation blood, or taking the virginity of a maiden to produce blood, which also later happened to have graduated into sacrificing of actual human beings and no longer bunny rabbits. And in case you're wondering, why are they doing these blood, sex, magic rituals in the first place? Well, that's how they evoke the energy of Satan into the world. And these are the people that in fact worship Satan. So yeah, it's not just the Chicago Bulls or Red Bull energy drink, and it's not just the celebrities that are wearing the bunny rabbit ears. It's also politicians, it's also monarchs, and it's also in fact world leaders. Because it's just one big club and we ain't in it.
Because they own this fucking place. It's a big club and you ain't in it.
Which again takes us back to world leaders and monarchs and politicians. And yes, this very first rabbit hole that we had fallen down in conjunction to all of these celebrities that are being photographed wearing bunny rabbit ears for a holiday that in fact has nothing to do with rabbits at all, except that they were used to reflect a renewal and used in ancient rituals. Because what were these ancient rituals? Sacrificing rabbits. Sacrificing rabbits for blood, sex, magic rituals. In the springtime, because it's all about renewal, yeah. But do you also know what reflects renewal and physical vitality and physical youth? And what also in fact happens to breathe new life into those that consume it? You guessed it. It's the molecular structure of the substance that resembles a rabbit. And how is the molecular structure altered to resemble a rabbit? Well, it's created by the introduction of adrenaline, and then there's the extracting of it, so it's pink but no longer red because it's been oxidized, which is again, I remind you, the same color as the Voodoo Donut boxes and the Voodoo Donut stores, and the color that Steve and Tyler also happen to have sung about. But yeah, I'm sure it's all just one big conspiracy theory. Except it's not. So, welcome to the rabbit hole. But not the same hole that the magic that they're referencing is inside of, because we're not the so-called elite. As in, we're not perverse and we're not corrupt. But more as in, Alice fell down a rabbit hole and her entire life changed after that, did it not? So yeah, welcome to the rabbit hole. I am so glad that you decided to fall down the hole with me. Subscribe if you are new, and please share this video, guys, with anyone that is just starting to wake up. And let them know, no, we, they, anyone that sees what's so plainly hidden in front of our faces are not crazy for noticing it, but we are, in fact, the revolution. So welcome to the revolution, guys. I'm so glad you are here. Now that concludes my reading into Voodoo Donuts, perverse donut names, the color pink and what it truly secretly represents, and the holiday Easter and those damn bunny rabbit ears. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, perhaps found it to be thought-provoking or insightful. So take what resonates, leave the rest behind, and with our awakenedness, let's start a revolution.